Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is, did you pay your taxes? April 15th, 2024. Now, I'm not an accountant, ladies and gentlemen, but I do know you can basically file late, but you got to put in a note that you're going to file late, but you still have to pay your taxes today, or the interest starts running up right now. Just letting you know. So you can get a, I don't know if it's a month or 2 months, beats the hell out of me. Ask your accountant. Okay. We'll do the introductions in a little bit. We'll do the news right out of the get-go. The terrorists in Iran decided to attack Israel, and Israel, with the help of others, including the United States, plucked everything out of the sky to where really no damage, but let me be clear and concise. They were trying to do damage, and they were trying to murder people. But the defense system that they have has been fantastic, and the wimps in Iran, and by the way, this is not the Iranian people, in case you don't know. I wouldn't call them best friends, but I have friends and acquaintances that are Iranian, hate the Iranian government. They're all good. I mean, a lot of good people there. Anyway, so Israel blocked it. The Iran has already said we're concluded, but don't come after us. One of the main reasons I can't stand Biden is that he actually had the grapefruits to actually leak out what he said to Israel, which he should not be doing. That is, we're not going to, if you're going to do anything else, we're not going to help you. He should shut the hell up and let another country do what they have to do. My best guess, and as you know, we've been pretty much on this, I would not be an Iranian soldier hanging out at one of those silos where the missiles came out of. Anywhere the drones were shot from, they're going to knock those areas out also, and then we'll see what happens from there. In case you don't know, Israelis were sipping coffee, doing Pilates outside, hanging out on the beach, and going about their business a day after a night where 300 drones and missiles were sent to attack them. And when we tell you how much we love Israel and the Israeli people, that is an example. As I told you, when I was there the first time, we had to go into a bomb shelter, I think 6 times. And on the last one, we were in a restaurant on the beach in Tel Aviv. When the sirens went off, the tourists ran into the bomb shelter. The Israelis sat at their tables and ate, and we said, screw it. We sat at the tables. Simple as that. Then the next night when we were leaving, about 20 minutes outside, as we took off, we headed back to Israel, and they said that it was a mechanical problem, but when we were landing, there were about 100 siren, whatever, with the red and blue, whatever cars. Leave no doubt there was a bomb threat, and they decided to shut it down. We left the next night. During the afternoon the next day, we were at a hotel they put us in. The sirens went off. They put us into the stairwell. I said, screw that. I'm not going into any stairwell. And I ran down the stairs and went outside. That's what Israelis have to go through. And the good news, a miserable failure by Iran. What happens from here, as I said, I think Israel's going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and we'll see how it goes. What else is going on right now today? And this is actually big news. In certain cities around the country, you have a bunch of racist, Jew-hating, Israel-hating scumbags blocking the Golden Gate Bridge and major thoroughfares in Chicago and in Pennsylvania. Remember what we've told you about this? We don't mind anybody protesting. We mind their bullcrap. There are murders going on in Nigeria, in Syria, in Haiti. They're eating people in Haiti, but no, let's go after Israel and just lie about them, apartheid and all that BS. It's the biggest lie on earth. The amount of Muslims in Israel that are celebrating Ramadan there is a bazillion of them. I will also tell you Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and other Arab countries have backed Israel against Iran in the last day or so. Good to see. And we just give no quarter to these anti-Semitic, racist protesters. They can go kiss mine. And I just have an answer for all of them. I don't know why the police just don't get out a bunch of super soakers and just start, and get some of that green slime from Nickelodeon and just start shooting them with the green slime. They'll get the hell out of there. Anyway, that's what's going on. Big news over the weekend. We never know what's going to be the outcome. But the fact of the matter is, no injuries, no dead, nothing taken out. I believe there was they found one of those missiles, and it's pretty damn big, at the Red Sea or the Dead Sea, whichever one. I don't know what the heck where exactly it was. And, we'll keep on watching. But ladies and gentlemen, the introductions here. This is serious talk on everything that affects you. It's Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Culp. I'm handsome and buffed host. And when we say serious, we mean serious. Do you know why? Protection of capital is number one. And we've been doing one hell of a dissertation and diatribe on this show for the last couple of weeks about protection of capital. Why? Because a lot of things breaking down, a lot of froth, a lot of speculation, a lot of stupidity. So we're a lot more serious right now, and it's very tough to do it over radio. We do these webcasts for our peeps. We actually show them everything. So we try to convey it to you as best as we can. And when we say to you that, these areas are breaking down, topping out, stair steps to the downside, that means trends, instead of being up, are going down. And where it ends up, we don't know. And as we always tell you, in order to head down, you've got to top out first. You got to get in trouble. And we use the terminology fewer and fewer, less and less. And recently, fewer and fewer and less stocks have been working. And more stocks have been breaking down. We've been highlighting the software area for you. Getting in big trouble. We highlighted JP Morgan on Friday. Restaurants. And other sundry stuff. And we've been also highlighting very important support areas in the market. Today, those support areas were taken out to the downside. And in a way we're not thrilled with. What do I mean? Well, best example, let's start with the Dow. Today, the Dow hit a high early at 38,386. 38,386. It closed at 37,735. So let's call it 650 points. The Dow was up 400 points early in the day. No, not kidding. In the first 5 minutes, the Dow was up 400 points, finished down 248 points. 650. The NASDAQ, early on today, at the open, pretty much at 16,295, closed at 15,885, 410 points. The NASDAQ was up 120, finished down 290. Big points. By the way, this is after a bad Friday. And we'll just say to you, it got worse. More and more stocks broke down, and more importantly, the big indices that have been holding up took out. Now let me explain what that means. The big indices have been trending a certain way, ascending. They then started flattening out. We give you the example. Today they broke below that flattening out. The all-important 50-day moving average was taken out on the Dow. The Dow was already bad. The S&P, NASDAQ 100, and the semiconductor index all took out the 50-day. And what does that mean to you and me? Well, you cannot ascend if you're below the 50-day. Only bad things can happen if you're below the 50-day, especially from topping out. We do not know if it's just a correction. We don't know if it's the death knell. We don't know if we go into a bear market, but we do know we're now on the move, and the big indices are now catching up to a lot of stocks that have already gagged. And as we've told you, the NASDAQ, the advanced declines on the NASDAQ are at a multi-month low, while the NASDAQ hasn't budged off the highs. And why is that? Because it's weighted a certain way, and the mega caps in the NASDAQ have been holding things up. Guess what they started to get today as they opened them hot? What's a great example? NVIDIA was up 24, finished down 22. We'll keep going with this. I hope you're listening. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on Twitter or X now, you should. We're very sarcastic and very charming, but very important to the point. You can email me, just be nice. No, really. Just be nice. We'll be nice back. So, on Friday, we did this little exercise with you, and we went through all these areas, and we said, okay, this broke this broke that. Well, here's the big guys. Well, first off, the Dow. The Dow broke the 50-day moving average back on the 4th of April, and why? It's only 30 stocks, and you had a bunch of names that got in big trouble. At the close today, the S&P broke below the 50-day moving average. For the first time since, not making this up, November 3rd. Now, what does that mean? Is it possible that you have this break in the S&P, NASDAQ 100, and the semiconductor index? Is it possible they break? And also, we already know that the Russell 2000 broke it. Has been weak all along. We also know the transports did the same. We also know about the advanced declines. Is it possible that it's a fake out? Is it possible we're breaking this area, and in the next 2 or 3 days, the fence comes in and stops the bleeding? Is that possible? Well, a couple of things. Number one, you have a crap load of earnings to be reported now, going forward. Like JP Morgan was trashed on Friday, but Goldman Sachs was up 11 today on their earnings, was up 24, but the market took it back in. Well, what if all these other names report and you get good numbers and good reactions? Well, that's always a possibility, but you know the two words we use. Odds favor. Based on historical precedent, based on the reading of the roadmap, odds favor. We got more work to do on the downside. Overall, as we always tell you, to what extent we really do not know. How far, we don't know. How long? We don't know. What day? We don't know. Unlike the people that tell you they do. Oh, well, in the by the fourth quarter, we expect, because in it's an election year, the Dow's going to hit so-and-so, and then the first quarter of next year, we expect a correction, and then, we'll see what happens. No, they don't know. What we care about most is getting the direction right, getting the trend right, and the trend has turned down. And this does not happen today. It's been going on for a few weeks as we've been telling you, oh man, Palo Alto Networks just broke down. Adobe just broke down. Snowflake just broke down. Shopify just broke down. Twilio, Team, Ulta Salon crashed. Lululemon crashed. Workday broke down. Zscaler, Zebra Technology, Roku, Roblox, Rivian, the electric vehicle stocks, Apple, Tesla. Little by little, piece by piece, inch by inch. So now the catch-up comes. And by no accident today, they got NVIDIA. Was up 20-something and now down 20-something. They got Netflix down 17. Salesforce.com, they bought somebody's down 21. And now we'll just keep measuring and measuring and measuring and measuring about where they want to go. And guess what? Just like we're able to read tops, we'll be able to read bottoms. And the hope is this is nothing more than a correction. And we'll find an area. And then we find the leadership, because what we're going to do as we move forward is what isn't going down, what's holding up best, what's not going anywhere, what has good reaction to earnings, what has bad. And that's that. But we're letting you know, very important today, you broke the big guy. The 50-day moving average, and the inability to get back above it in the short run will dictate. What does that mean? We've always said you break the 50-day, if you can get it back in a day or two, okay. But if you don't, and let me explain how this works. All we can tell you is the 50-day moving average physically is what we call the line of ascension or descension. Is descension a word? Descending, whatever. If you're above the 50-day moving average, you only have opportunity to the upside. If you're below the 50-day moving average, you have only ability to the downside, unless you get back above or get back below. And with so many names in so many areas breaking below, odds favor we're going to head lower. How much, we don't know. And all we have done here is get out. And as we said to you, the day after March 8th, we thought was a top in the technology arena. We sold the next day. We were pissed off we couldn't sell on March 8th because it all happened in 2 hours. It was so quick. But we got out. And we sold AMD over 200. It's 158. I mean, holy crap. Taiwan Semiconductor much higher. Other names much higher. We have not perfect. It's not easy. Sold NVIDIA and watched it go up, and now it's back to where we sold. Made about 70 some odd percent. We're still in Meta right now, still up about 45%. But that's coming in a little bit, and we'll address it as it goes, and we've sold down a little. But stock by stock, stock by stock, stock by stock, breaking support areas, and we ain't going to be playing it. Why? Just in case. What if it's turning into a bear market? And of course, there's a definition of bear market 20%, and we don't know. All we do know is these areas of growth and technology, they're very over-owned, over-loved, over-leveraged, and you can get in trouble. And what happens is once these areas break, just remember, do you know why they hold? Because the big institutions, the big hedge funds, the big mutual funds defend those areas. They know ascending or descending. Why do they break? Because under the weight of weakness in the market, they finally break. And guess what those institutions do? They're in recognition of it. And guess what they do then? Sell some more. And then where it stops, we don't know. We just know it's now on the move. And that's it. Best way I can explain it. It's just reading the tape. And tonight, we're going to scan 1,500 names. We'll probably do it a second time, not 1,500, to get a real good feel. But the most important part of the equation is the big indices that have held up so well because of a select few names are now breaking those areas and we'll see what comes of it, knowing earnings reports are coming out soon. We do know that. But add in the fact you're up 400 on the down, you finished down 200 and change. That's all you need to know. That's distribution. That's selling. And they did the NASDAQ 100, the semiconductors, and the S&P today. The Dow was already a goner. Advanced declines today, 681 up, 3442 down on the New York, 831 up, 3289 down on the NASDAQ. Ready for this on the NASDAQ? 44 new highs, 318 new lows. And by the way, of that 44, I'd say there may be 5. The New York, 23 new highs, 116 new lows. Definition of deterioration. Up next, we got more. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. The other part of the equation, and we've been telling you, 10-year yield up a big juicy 1.29 today. That's takes you from 4.5 to 4.628 on the 10-year yield. And I got news for you. Markets do not like that. We have been warning about the yields. What was up today? The gold, and we still have the gold. GLD was up $4 today. And we still think in and around here it's probably going to hang. There was some green today. Goldman, we said, was up 11 on earnings. Schwab was up, even though their earnings stunk. I didn't think their numbers were that good. And a few sundry little things were up, but nothing spectacularly. And then on the downside, just very weak. And again, when the top 8 stocks on the NASDAQ 100 account for 42% of the NASDAQ 100, and they start gagging, that's trouble. They were gagging them a little bit today. And if you go do the charting and stuff like that, you'll see like the QQQ today. It's been ascending, went flat over the last 6 or 7 weeks, and today took out that flatness. And it just happened to be the 50-day moving average. Tomorrow's another day. The hope for the bulls is, come on, you can recover. Come on. Doesn't work that way. Normally. They came after the last vestiges of software stocks today, things like CrowdStrike. Goodbye. Rolling over. Microsoft still hanging in there, but they're going goodbye to Microsoft too. Actually finished below the 50-day for the first time since October. I take that back. How about early October on Microsoft? Institutions are sellers of stock now because of A, duration, B, higher rates, or just because. They've run their course for now. And again, the hope is it's just going to be a correction. It's going to be more painful. But then it stops. And then the basketballs that are being held underwater that want to just jump will start showing themselves. But we're not there yet. Just had another icky day. What else? Valuations are high. We told you for the last 2 months sentiment is too complacent. Well, the complacency is now being lost. We don't usually talk the VIX, the volatility index, but that is spiked. It means people are now less complacent. Why? Because they move around based on price, and price is coming in. So stay tuned. Getting to be a little bumpy ride here. Back in 21, we did the same thing for you, and it turned into a brutal. We're not saying, and back then we didn't know it would turn into a brutal. with so many stocks down 60, 70, 80%. We didn't know. We told you that. We just said, hey, everything's topping. And we'll take it step by step. Well, more things top today. You're welcome on the Donald Trump stock. Trump media, and I'm going to be a little bit on the opinionated side. DJT was down another $6 today, and it's down a little in the aftermarket. Let's call it $6.20 to $26.40. We warned you the day it closed. It closed that day at 66. We said this is worth single digits. And then we've actually said it's worth $1. What were we basing it on? 136 million shares outstanding, which gives it $136 million market cap at $1. And they only have less than $4 million in revenues, and you lose $50 million. Well, let me tell you what Donald Trump and his friends did today. Screwed every one of you shareholders. Donald Trump, and we're just talking business here. This is not politics. Donald Trump and his friends at Donald Trump Media screwed every shareholder. If you have the stock, well, by the way, I think there's going to be lawsuits on this. Like Donald Trump doesn't have enough lawsuits. Instead of me telling you what they did, I want you to Google the words. Let me see the best words to Google on this. How about Trump Media Group selling or secondary offering? That's what I want you to do. They screwed the shareholders today in a big way in order to get Trump out of his stock, because obviously he needs to raise money. They're registering it. I don't know if he's been able to sell any yet. But it's now down to 26.60, down from 66 when we warned you, and it hit a high of 80. And we weren't kidding when we said it's worth single digits. And again, we are not talking politics here. We're talking protection of your capital, which is this show is all about. And we've done it with NFTs, with the GameStops and other meme stocks, with the marijuana stocks, with the no-sales biotechs, with the Beyond Meat fad, with the AMC Theater, with the electric vehicle stupidity, with the Rivian. We did it with the SPACs, where Wall Street screwed the hell out of you, with the overvalued IPOs like Reddit, which was just $75. It's now $40. Well done, Wall Street, screwing the American public. And we will continue doing it without bias, without agenda, without ulterior motive, except two words: protect capital. When everything around you is going nuts. And when people are losing their mind, buying at any price. Trump gave the shareholders the middle finger today. By the way, as I always say, I'd say it to his face. Just like I'd say everything I've been ripping Joe Biden every day here. I'd say it to his face if I had the chance. They're just people. I couldn't give a crap what their titles are, from president on down. Joe Biden, to me, I have zero respect for. Zero. For what he's doing to you and our treasure. Control freakism at its finest. Debt and deficits at his largest. While he sits in front of the camera and lies out his butt towards you. Taking the championship belt from Trump. Online, which is the highest bar I can come up with. So we're just going to continue to tell you what we think on the protection of capital. And now with the markets gagging a little bit, We'll see what tomorrow brings. Today was icky. Again, we'll see what tomorrow brings. We have no idea what tomorrow does. We just know the institutions were at it today, and they weren't happy. Dow finished down 248 after being up 400. And I got to tell you, maybe it's just me. The Dow was up 400 early. I didn't realize that. 38,386. 38,386. That's 651 points. It was up 403 early. I didn't even realize that. Holy crap-a-matic. Dang. So we hope you are listening. We're not telling you what to do. We're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. We're telling you what we think. And that is all. With no agenda, no bias, no ulterior motive. Simple as that. I think that explains that. Tesla. They're firing 10% of the workforce. Demand. We told you. Again, demand. 10% of the workforce. And as you know, Tesla stock has been in the bear market. And we've been warning you about Tesla, and we've been warning you about Apple. Apple had a couple of good days, but again, if they're not growing the business, it ain't going anywhere. And life is pretty simple. You know what the opposite of Tesla is? The shop at the Masters Golf Tournament. That'll be up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
So, let's talk greatness, because I'm addicted to greatness. As I've told my kids, and you should tell your kids, and you should learn, study greatness. Let me start with Delta Airlines this weekend. I flew to Atlanta. I don't know if you know this, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world now. And all I'm thinking to myself is, I haven't looked it up, the name of the person who runs Atlanta Airport, the head honcho, I don't know the person's name. And I'm thinking to myself, what a freaking wonderful job the people who run Atlanta Airport do. I got there early waiting for my son to fly in, and I was just checking it all out. And I was just looking how, you know how many people work in Atlanta Airport? Get them in, get them out, and you don't even know it. I was just marveling at how great Atlanta Airport is. And I know there's probably some stories, whatever, but if you really take a step back and how gargantuan this thing is, and what an unbelievable job. And then there's Delta Airlines. So I have favorite airlines. I love Virgin Atlantic when I fly to London. The people are great. Delta, I think, has moved up 10 notches in the last few years on their people, their service, their business, and of course they're huge. Delta pretty much is their own airport in Atlanta, and just seamless. And of course there's late flights, there's weather and all that, and I'm not talking about that. I think we're spoiled how great a job a lot of these airlines do. Not Spirit, of course. And I'd say that to the CEO's face. But Delta Airlines, fantastic. And just so you know, I'll stand against the wall and I'll just watch a bunch of gates, and I'll watch the people at the gates. And I'll watch if somebody can't walk being taken to the gates, and if there's a wheelchair onto the airplane, to the stewards, to the pilots. Amazing. We're spoiled. And then I took my son to the Masters. There's every other sporting event I've been to, and then there's the Masters. Just magnificent. The people, the place. They charge $1.50 for sandwiches, by the way. I think $3 for the most expensive one. No gouging there. They actually lose money on the sandwiches. But I was just there, and I'm like, and I'm explaining to my son, do you see what's going on here? And just so you know, they were lining up for like an hour and a half wait to go to the golf shop because they sell millions of dollars worth of master stuff. And I was watching how they bring people in. What? Masterful. So I was just thinking to myself this weekend, between Atlanta Airport, Delta, and the Masters, I saw greatness. And it all started with the people at these places and their ability to just run things great and know their jobs. I was just thinking about that. And I made sure I conveyed that to my son. Do you see that? Do you see this? Do you see that? And then in Atlanta Airport, I stayed at this Marriott Gateway, which is attached to the airport. You take this little sky train. They did a marvelous job at Atlanta Airport connecting everything because a lot of things are far away. And the Marriott was seamless. We're spoiled, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you. I think we do spend a lot of our time critiquing, and Lord knows I do a bunch of it, but earned of the people running this country. But I'm just letting you know, as I travel up and down New York, back and forth, to see my parents, and now I just saw a lot of greatness. And by the way, I'm talking about the men and women that walked into the bathrooms and were cleaning the toilets and the stalls. Them. I'm talking about them. From top to bottom. Everybody knew their job, and they all did it with a smile. Greatness. Just want you to all think about that because, let me repeat, I think we're spoiled. And I just wanted to, in a sea of me critiquing the people running this country, there's a lot of great going on out there. And I just had a great weekend with my son. And the Masters were just, it's my fourth time to the tournament, just well run. And just another, it's like golf heaven there, ladies and gentlemen. And then I got to watch greatness and Scott Scheffler win another tournament. And say, I'm not about golf, I'm about my family and my friends. I love that. And my God. That's what he said afterwards. I love that. And of course, on the weekend, Iran tries to bomb Israel while all this great's going on. To the Iranian people, I feel terrible for you. I know what you're going through. Hopefully one day these scumbags will be knocked out and replaced. And smarter people will prevail. They're prevailing in other Arab countries, ladies and gentlemen, that are standing beside Israel now. You know why? Because Israel showed them the way. Work hard, create, produce, treat people well. The lie of apartheid, they're just a big, gigantic, racist lie. It's all a lie. The other day, I saw gays for Hamas, gays for Iran. The gays would be strung up by Hamas in Iran. They hate Jews. That much. That's how crazy it is out there. We'll keep talking about it, but most importantly, the market. You heard what we had to say. Better days ahead. Near term, probably not. We'll be doing a big webcast tonight. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. And be great. Same time tomorrow, everybody. Appreciate your time. Peace out, all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.